We're in the 21st century. If I'm not obeying God, look at me with my fine suit, yet I'm not wearing shoes. I have shoes in my house. They're in my house. Yet, spiritual dealing. He wants to tell me that he wants to make the church holy again. I told you guys some years ago. I said, God said he wants to make the church a sacred place again, the prophetic house. As a sign to that thing, he said, okay, let's not wear shoes. He spoke to us and said he wants to humble his people again. As a sign to that, he said we should not sit on chairs. And people online were bashing us. How will you not sit on chair? If you find God, the church will fight you. There is a modern way of operation. I remember I told you people, he said every new wine will come with a new wineskin. He said we give us a new song, a new operation, a new dress. You see me dressed with my regalia. Just for that dressing, people still fought me. That's when I discovered that if you obey God, your obedience will offend the disobedience of people. Because they want all their pastor to wear suit and tie. They are not saying, okay, this prophet is covered. He's properly covered. Because the word, Gucci is what teaches them fashion. They don't know you can peep into the menorah and then you will see the garments of priests, of prophets. So what is influencing a Christian fashion designer? Gucci. Gucci that is gay. Louis Vuitton that is gay. That's what is influencing a Christian fashion designer. So you can't peep into heaven and give us a dressing style that is suit for princes of the kingdom of heaven. If you see this eternal kingdom I'm speaking about, and you come back to it, you will stop going to church. How do you think we started meeting on Sunday? Me, I will not come and tell you that God now told us, let's start as a ministry. God now told us that, okay, start meeting on Sunday. No. We started Sunday meetings because of what? We couldn't what? We couldn't go to church. We will go to certain churches, and have you ever gone to church where the carnality is so great, you have to be singing hymn to preserve the God you brought there? Yes, sir. I don't know if that's ever happened to you. You go to church and the atmosphere is so carnal that it seems as though glory is leaving you. You now have to hide and you are praying. God, it's in the church, it's happening. The men and the women that walk here, everybody is their clothes they want to show. The people are singing on the altar, and all you can see is death. They are ministering death unto you. Oh my God. We went to many churches. The only place we could find succor was a church called Grace Breed. That was the only place we could even find small ventilation. Because the man, I think was a Muslim, converted, and he had testimonies of God in his mouth. He will speak. I say, oh, finally. We went to big churches. And I told my brother, I said, Kai, let's start fellowshipping on Sundays in the house. That's how we started Sunday morning service. And then other brethren started coming. And that's how we became this. A gathering of men who were discomforted. We now began to discover that talking with your brother in the Lord will bless you more than going to a conference. If God wants to help you, he will give you a mind that can think his thought. When I journeyed a little ago, I now discovered that the problem of the church is truly unbelief. That's all. It's unbelief. Has God ever led you to do a business? If God leads you to do a business, don't you make the mistake to think he's leading you there for profit. He's leading you there to teach you. So take your pen and your paper, and as you are doing that business, everything that happens to you in that business journey, that's if God led you. Everything that happens to you is a syllabus meant to teach you something in God. Don't ever downgrade the leadings of God to time. Don't ever think God will lead you. Don't you know that the leadings of God to the elders is what becomes scripture for us today? These men were just obeying God who was leading them on journeys, leading them on acts of obedience, things that did not make sense to them. God will tell a prophet, go naked and prophesy naked for 2 years. That's embarrassment. God will tell another prophet, go and marry a prostitute. So after Sunday service, you see the wife of the prophet dancing naked on a pole. Yet, this is a man that is called a holy man. Do you know what the prophet went through? To know that all Israel knows the nakedness of your wife. Brother Sonny that you prayed for just now, he meets your wife in the club and he sleeps with your wife that night to receive the prayer. And then God will tell you, go back and bring her to the house. Oh my God, I feel like weeping. Before you say, I want to be a prophet, sit down and count the cost. Because your failure may be part of what God wants to use to speak to the nations. Because the nations too have failed him. So he will cause you to fail so that you will know that pain. Yes. Your barrenness may be your sermon. So he will tell you, preach from that pain of barrenness. Preach. That is how the people are also unfruitful towards me. God knew that if he spoke to Hosea would not understand his pain. So he said, go and marry a harlot. So that pain of being violated, of that which you call holy unto you, because I've taught you holiness. Holiness means separation unto and from. When you marry a wife or a husband, your wife and your husband is holy unto you. That's why adultery is a sin. Because adultery is trespass. That which is holy has been defiled. When the Bible speaks of bed undefiled, it means that in that union there should be absolute holiness, commitment only to each other, no trespassing into that union. That's what holiness means. The seraphs do not even show their face to the angels in heaven, because their face and likeness is holy only unto God. So only God can behold the beauty of the seraphs. That's why the seraphs are example of holiness. Their foot are covered, their face are covered. Only God can see their face, because their face is exclusively only unto God. So even angels in heaven cannot behold the face of a seraph. You cannot speak of their beauty. You cannot draw them. You do not know how they look like, because their beauty is only unto the eyes of God. And that's why a married Jewish woman, she will prefer to wear wig or cover her hair, because in Jewish culture, your hair is also a symbol of your beauty. And once you are married, that beauty is only for your husband's eye. That's why you see the wives of Muslim clerics, they will cover down to everywhere. It's because their body, their form is holy only unto their husband. Exclusive. If a thing is not exclusive, it's not holy. So if you want to go on a fast and say, okay, I want my eyes to be holy only unto the word of God, it means you will tie a sheet on your eyes. And the only time you will open that eyes is in the night when you want to read the Bible. You will on your torchlight, and then you open the Bible, and then you open your eyes, so that your eyes will only behold the Bible. And then Israel, that God sacrificed for, purchased and married. Israel now went after other gods. And God said, okay, for you, prophet, to be able to speak from what I feel, go and also marry a harlot. Gomer. Jesus Christ. And then God began to show the prophet what it means to take care of a woman, to purchase a woman, to do everything to a woman. Meanwhile, the woman now represents Israel. Yet, this woman that doesn't lack anything still goes after other men. So God was trying to show Hosea that the problem of Israel and the harlotry of Israel was not the absence of resources or power. It was not because God was not taking care of them. It was because there in their gene is the spirit of a harlot, of whoredom. And the spirit of whoredom is an adventurous spirit. A spirit that gains pleasure from breaking the rules. I taught you about it. There are some people whose sexual life is only aroused by things that goes beyond the normal. In that person is a spirit of perversion, a spirit of whoredom. So the woman is asking the husband, what does other women have that I don't have? You are not the problem, my dear. In him is a harlotry spirit. the spirit of a harlot has possessed the man. So because he's possessed with that spirit, he's an adventurer. Don't marry a man who's an adventurer. It's a spirit in him. Do you see how the harlot was described? He said of the children of harlots. That means she came from a family tree of harlotry. It's in their blood. So you see a man cheating on his beautiful wife, and you begin to wonder, what is these people looking for? What are they looking for? It's an adventurous spirit. You see a woman, lavish house, car everywhere, money, and yet she's sleeping with houseboy. It's a spirit inside. I can't imagine how many nights the prophet laid down and he wept. He wept. Yes. Sometimes your pain is not for you. Your pain is so that you can understand. You invest, it doesn't work. God will say, go and invest again. You invest, it doesn't work. God will say, go again, and you are wondering. And he said, that is how I'm investing in my people and I'm losing. God has never spoken to you before. And when you say, okay, God, I've learned, he said, no, you've not learned. Go again. How can you explain these things to people? That's why obedience is treasured by the immortals, because it will not make sense. Yes, he will say, go again. Have you ever walked with God? No, many have not walked with God. Everything he does with you, it will teach you. See, when God is true with you, this is how you'll be walking. You'll be humble, because it's a terrible thing to fall into the hands of God. Break me and mold me. Don't sing that song if you don't have understanding. Because if his mighty hands comes to break you, you may lose your job, your wife, your children, and then you'll be left alone. And when they're all dead, he will now say, okay, let's begin a journey. God. God gave his disciples fishes by the hand of his son Yeshua. After they brought that mighty catch, he now said, okay, leave it and follow me. Then why did we toil to catch this thing and bring it to? He said, okay, now leave it and let's begin a journey. God will give you plenty, and he will tell you, leave the plenty and start a journey with me. You've not begun a walk with God if God cannot tell you, quit your UBA job now, go and be a teacher in Ogebe Memorial College. You will now know what it means for faith to move you out of the comfort to discomfort. That is when you will discover that the major problem of Christians is unbelief. They don't believe God. That is when they'll start asking themselves, are you sure God is the one speaking? Yes, it's God that is speaking. Prophets who will only tell you you buy cars, and they will not tell you you should leave your car. That's what we have in our generation. So God works with only the few. There are only very few people that work with God. Why in the 21st century, if I'm not obeying God, look at me with my fine suit, yet I'm not wearing shoes. I have shoes in my house. God has blessed me with people who buy shoes, not just in Nigeria. They will send it from abroad to me. They're in my house. Yet, spiritual dealing. He wants to tell me that he wants to make the church holy again. I told you guys some years ago. I said, God said he wants to make the church a sacred place again, the prophetic house. As a sign to that thing, he said, okay, let's not wear shoes. He spoke to us, he said he wants to humble his people again. As a sign to that, he said we should not sit on chairs. And people online were bashing us. How will you not sit on chairs? If you find God, the church will fight you. There is a modern way of operation. I remember I told you people, he said every new wine will come with a new wineskin. He said, we give us a new song, a new operation, a new dress. You see me dressed with my regalia. Just for that dressing, people still fought me. That's when I discovered that if you obey God, your obedience will offend the disobedience of people. Because they want all their pastor to wear suit and tie. They are not saying, okay, this prophet is covered. He's properly covered. Because the word, Gucci is what teaches them fashion. They don't know you can peep into the menorah and then you will see the garments of priests, of prophets. So what is influencing a Christian fashion designer? Gucci. Gucci that is gay. Louis Vuitton that is gay. That's what is influencing a Christian fashion designer. So you can't peep into heaven and give us a dressing style that is suit for princes of the kingdom of heaven. If you see this eternal kingdom I'm speaking about, and you come back to it, you will stop going to church. How do you think we started meeting on Sunday? Me, I will not come and tell you that God now told us, let's start as a ministry. God now told us that, okay, start meeting on Sunday. No. We started Sunday meetings because of what? We couldn't what? We couldn't go to church. We will go to certain churches, and have you ever gone to church where the carnality is so great, you have to be singing hymn to preserve the God you brought there? Yes, sir. I don't know if that's ever happened to you. You go to church and the atmosphere is so carnal that it seems as though glory is leaving you. You now have to hide and you are praying. God, all is in the church, is happening. The men and the women that are walking, everybody is their clothes they want to show. The people are singing on the altar, and all you can see is death. They are ministering death unto you. Oh my God. We went to many churches. The only place we could find succor was a church called Grace Breed. That was the only place we could even find small ventilation. Because the man, I think, was a Muslim, converted, and he had testimonies of God in his mouth. He will speak. I say, oh, finally. We went to big churches. And I told my brother, I said, Kai, let's start fellowshipping on Sundays in the house. That's how we started Sunday morning service. And then other brethren started coming. And that's how we became this. A gathering of men who were discomforted. We now began to discover that talking with your brother in the Lord will bless you more than going to a conference. Yes, sir. I don't know how many of you have experienced this. Yes. You will be speaking with your brother in the Lord, and the revelations coming from God is so much so that you will pick up your phone and then you begin to record the conversation. Have you ever recorded a conversation like that before? Yes. We have those records, many. It's too deep. You are recording, you are writing, things are coming. Then you go to conferences, you are distracted by activities. You become so bored with activity upon activity upon is so dead. So faith impresses God. If you beg the Lord and you say, teach me how to be a man of faith, how to believe in you, oh my God. God, how to believe in you, oh my, how to believe, help me. If I stand or I should fall, you know me well, you see it all. My darkest night, my deepest fears, I cry to you, and you will hear. In your fullness I will rest. I find your keys beneath the cross. Knowing you is my one desire. Lamb of God, sweet morning star. Boundless love, come carry me to a place where I am blessed and free, where I belong, and you will be, where all of you is all of me. Let's love, come carry me. If you are a seeker, you will know these songs. These are the only songs you'll be able to sing. I remember I will sing this song in my bedroom and then I'll begin to weep. Because you realize that you cannot go to Kanu and find God. You cannot go, he has to show you where he is. Hi. He has to show you, he has to look upon you. I'm just holding back, he has to show you. Can your God deliver your mother in the days of her trouble? And you see your mother lying helpless. Ah, Kai. My dad was struck with partial stroke. I came to Makurdi and I saw my dad that I grew up with. And one eye was looking here, it was so bad. And I looked to the heavens and said, do I know God? I wept before God. I said, God, look with pity. God of mercy and compassion, look with pity upon me. Father, let me call you Father. This thy son returns to thee. Jesus, Lord, I ask for mercy. Let me not employ vain all my sins. I now need them, never will I sin again. If you know God, you will know his mercy. You will know that the greatest things in God can only be given to you by mercy. Not because people call you the great apostle, you will weep before him. And then God looked upon my father with mercy and then healed my father. When you see me sing to God, I'm like a child. It's because I know God. I know it's not because you are a prayer champion. See, go and kneel down and weep. If God does not help a man, major electricity can never help that man. Do you think it's because you bring the person to this person that's what is going to bring the healing? Many have met those men and still died. He said, let us therefore come boldly, not rudely. Boldly. Many people come rudely. They don't understand. There's a difference between coming boldly and coming rudely. Coming boldly is not because you are strong. It's because you have knowledge of what has been done for you. So now you can approach him. But when you are coming, you should know you are coming before a throne of mercy. Because anything you are going to access in God has to be done from the place of mercy. If not, you cannot touch anything. Come boldly before the throne of mercy and find, so that you can obtain mercy and what? Obtain mercy. So the grace you will find is obtained on the altar of mercy. The first thing given to you is mercy. So when you come boldly before that throne of grace, you know what is grace? It means you don't merit it. So that seat you are coming to, your coming was aided. Your communication, interaction, aided. What you will obtain is aided.
Hello, thank you for watching the video, and I hope it was a great asset to you. And I hope it was also not a waste of time. If you haven't commented, if you haven't liked, please do that. And for more videos, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more videos. God bless you.